Good evening, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And welcome to our instantly after the episodes reaction to ANDOR Season 2. This is episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Season 2, and they are called 1 Year Later, Sigorna Tima, and Harvest. And it is Disney's attempt to try to do something a little different with their releasing by doing a 3-episode release.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. I don't know if it's Disney or if it's Tony Gilroy.
Tony Gilroy said it was Disney.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to believe Tony until I'm told differently.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
So, if you have not been around for one of our reviews before, welcome. And we're going to go off the rails a bunch, and nothing's going to be in order. It's very timey-wimey. And I am the super Star Wars fan. She is the above-average fan. And so there's going to be some times where I'm going to bring up something, and she's going to be like, what? And I will do my best to explain it. We are also not ones to go, that's a T-86 hyperspeed, blah, blah, blah. We're much more talking about, for us, the actual, meanings behind what they're trying to tell us, at least as we're interpreting it after one watch. So we'll be much more about how we feel about the episodes, the emotions, which is also feelings. I was trying to find another word that kept coming with emotions, and just like the overall kind of what's being told to what's being shown to us on screen, and not all the Easter eggs and stuff like that. There's tons of great channels out there. New Rockstars is great at that. Star Wars Explained is great at that, and they will have all kinds of videos to do that. I don't know how they're going to do it because there's a lot to go through.
Yeah. It might be like Friday before they.
Yeah. And I know for Star Wars Explained, Alex and Molly just got home from celebration in Japan, so they're still a little on Japanese time.
Right. Probably not the only Star Wars podcasters that just got home.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into this. First, I want to discuss the 3-episode release before we get into actually the actual kind of conversation of what these episodes are. But I, from my point of view, really like this idea. I like this experiment. Because if they had ended it with the first episode, there would have been a ton of discord online about this doesn't live up to the first Andor because it's the first episode of a new season. They got to set up a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. And this takes away much of that discord by giving us the first full arc in one night.
Right. Yeah, I could see where that potentially will happen. I mean, I guess we'll see, but there's the fanboys are going to fanboy, but yeah, I mean, I think that it at least gives you the whole thing, the whole, I think it was Tony Gilroy that said that each of these is going to be, you're going to be dropped in to a point in time within each year leading up to Rogue One.
Yeah.
So, this was a couple of days, less than a week of time in this first year after we left last season. So you're getting that whole, like you said, it's the whole slice of what they're trying to show you, talk about, whatever kind of synopsize everybody's situations at this point in time.
I think my initial reaction when they announced this was because of what we're doing right now. We're going to watch 3 episodes on a Tuesday on a school night and then turn around and talk about this for a half an hour to 45 minutes, and then I got to upload it and do all the stuff. Yeah. So us as the podcasters, us as the reactors, us as the people who are putting out our opinions online, all freaked out
Yeah.
because of the times. Specifically, if you're on the East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. That definitely. It's gonna be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Before you get to bed.
However, them making this decision is not for us. This is for the casual viewers, and you could tell that by the actual presentations of trailers and Discord that they were doing as they were leading up. They feel at Disney and Lucasfilm that they have an award-winning show on their hands, and they're trying to get the casual Star Wars person, not the above casual person that's sitting here, the actual casual, that Andor series was really good last time. Let's see what the next season is. It's trying to get them to be, and if you tell them, hey, we're giving you a movie a night, for 4 straight weeks, it's a ballsy choice, and I think overall it's the right one.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what they actually did with these 3 episodes. We had four overlaying stories. You have Cassian and his mission to still the TIE Avenger go wrong. You have Dedra moving up in the world and her home life with Serial. What was that? We have the Trangillan wedding for Mon Mothma's daughter. And then you have the rest of the Ferrex group that got off the planet and are now hiding in plain sight as mechanics on Mina Rura. Mm-hmm. And so you have all 4 of those stories. I don't think I'm missing anything. I think that's the 4.
No, that was the 4. I mean, there's other stuff, like especially with the wedding. There was a lot of stuff going on there, but that's pretty much the 4 main stories.
And I really they interlaced each episode with going back and forth between the 4 storylines, but each time they did that, what was going on in one story was a mirror image to what's going on in the other stories. And they were all not necessarily directly red string straight line connected, but they were. This group of people who took Cassian hostage are being paid for by Luthen, who is working his program at the wedding, who is at the wedding that is having Tay tell Mon Mothma that your rebellion is bleeding me dry. So you had all these different things going in different directions. And so it could be confusing, but I think they did a very good job of, once they kind of set up how they're going to lay out each of the episodes, about it kind of like, you knew exactly what was going on in each scene, and each location looked so different too. So that helped a lot too.
Yeah, that definitely helped. And I mean, ultimately, all of these players from season 1 who were still alive or still playing by the time we get to the end of season 1, all of those strings have got to converge on Rogue One in the 4th episode, the fourth
day of episodes.
The 4th day of episodes, yes. So, I mean, Dedra and Cyril are not seen in Rogue One in the movie, but I mean, Dedra obviously has ties now to Krennic.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see what goes on there, especially with, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that whole scene with his mom. I don't like Dedra, but
I know.
She makes me want to like her.
I know. And one of the things that came out during Celebration this last weekend was she said it's a lot less girl boss this season and a lot more light fascism.
Everyone enjoys a little light fascism.
Okay. And when she said it, the whole crowd sort of like nervously giggled, and the whole cast on the stage was like, yeah, that's about right. Yeah,
She
that's
also
about
said that their relationship, her and Cyril's relationship, was going to get weird.
Oh, she's the femdom in that relationship.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
He's totally okay with it. Like,
absolutely. I mean, that's what he went from his mother to her.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
at least Dedra's sticking up for him with his mom. I mean,
she does actually care for him.
Or she just wanted to stake her claim. He can't have two
dominant
doms
women
in his
this.
life.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, we're talking about her. So let's get her kind of arc out of the way. We have the dinner where she stakes claim to Cyril.
Cyril.
Mr. Karn. That whole sequence is both unnerving and made me giggle, and like I'm happy that they found each other, that they're happy. Like I liked how that whole sequence was.
Cyril
it just made
laying
me uncomfortable
on the bed was just the best.
He's so good.
He's like, excuse me, and then she's like laying down the law with the mom, and he's just like laying like stiff as a board on the bed. Like, I hate my life. Amazing.
But the other part for her is she was in the highly top secret meeting about Gorman. Now, Gorman arc should be probably the next arc that we get, because we need Mon to step down from the Senate before we get to the end.
Yeah.
And so I feels like that Gorman stuff that happens, that I know that happens, I'll tell you, because it's been all over the place. There's it's mentioned in Rebels and other places that there's the Gorman massacre, and that's what causes Mon Mothma to finally pull the string, resign from the Senate, join the rebellion. That's what the scene we get in Rebels with her calling out everybody to
that makes total sense. I mean, that's kind of what I thought would happen was they were gonna just wipe them out.
So that whole boardroom meeting with the 50s "Welcome to Gorman" like video was just the weirdest. Like, it was jarring on purpose, like not jarring bad, but jarring on purpose. Of when that thing started up, and I'm like, "What are we watching?"
Well, and if you think about it, it was actually perfect, because Star Wars in general is weirdly, to us, like kind of ancient. Like,
well, it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Well,
so
I know, but
yeah.
You know, they're using Pac-Man or Pong graphics, you know, and so to have that kind of not this polished 4K HD video, but this it makes sense. But yeah, you're expecting, your brain is expecting, oh, they're in this nice, clean, kind of futuristic looking boardroom with these kind of futuristic looking uniforms on, and then
this 1940s propaganda movie comes on.
Lost Dharma Initiative video
that's even
comes
a better
on.
one. Yeah, that's a good one too. In that meeting, they talk about that although the spiders that are there are working with the Gormans to make the finest linens in all of the galaxy, what they actually need is this mineral out of the core of the planet that they cannot find a suitable replacement for or alternative for, that will coat
the lenses
on their energy program.
Right.
Now, if you've been paying attention to Star Wars, seen Rogue One, you know what that energy program is. And you know who Krennic is, who's the one who's running this meeting.
Yep.
So, having Krennic in this series, I was very excited about because I think he's a really interesting character to show spend more time as an Imperial trying to work his way up the ranks.
Yeah.
And he's in charge of the Death Star construction, which is why he goes and gets Galen Erso at the beginning of Rogue One, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens in Catalyst that is there. They were friends in school and like all that kind of stuff, and so he sells it as we as the Empire might have to go in there and convince the people of Gorman to move, because if we mine this the way we need to, the planet will not be stable.
Right.
And they mentioned 800,000 people would be displaced. 800,000 people in this giant galaxy is a tiny, tiny, tiny less than like 0.01% of the people that are actually in the galaxy.
Yeah.
But when we hear 800,000 people, that's the size of my city.
Yeah.
And so...
But all those people living on one planet, I mean, that would be fairly unpopulated planet.
Yeah, and it's not... It's, planets in Star Wars are not the same size as Earth,
right.
So I don't know how big Gorman is. Yeah, but still.
It's like a couple of not even medium-sized towns.
Yeah,
and that's it.
But Krennic pretty much says, let's figure out a way to get them to leave on their own. This is what this group is together. They have a little bit of a confab about their propaganda guys. Like, we did this, and we were really spinning the propaganda in a way that made it more acceptable, for the outside populace of Gorman to be understanding of what we're about to do by putting troops on the ground and stuff.
Yeah, well, they've made it so that people that aren't Gorman feel a little icky about the Gorman people. So when they all are disappeared, they're not gonna. They're gonna be like, oh, that's sad. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, what's the score of the game? But really, the big two things that comes out of that meeting is Krennic wants a plan to remove the Gormans from their planet so they could mine this stuff. Even though he kind of sold it as, we're looking for other alternatives, but that kind of stuff. And then he corners Dedra, telling her, I picked you for a reason. I don't get to Coruscant very often, but I've heard about what you did on Ferrix. I picked you to be here on what are your thoughts? And she's like, I'm still wrapping my head around it. And he's like, bull, you have a plan already. And she lays down a plan for him, and he grins, and she walks away. And it's like, damn, B, like, I want to like you so much, and then you like, here's the way to eradicate an entire planet.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's talk about, so that's kind of what happened with her. We'll get more with her, I think, in the episodes as we go forward, especially around the Gorman stuff.
Yeah. Again, like I said, we've got to figure out how she plays into.
And I want a 6-episode living with the I'm trying to think of how I would name their domestic life. I want a 6-episode.
Cyrildra Dendril.
The Carns. The Carns.
I want to see Dedra in an apron. No, Cyril in an apron.
He was making dinner. I love her fake smile that she put on when she was trying out all the outfits. Okay, let's talk about the guy who actually the show is named after him. Cassian. The first episode starts with him on some. I don't remember the name of the planet. I didn't make a note of it, but it's a testing facility for TIE fighters, and he's working with an insider who is a maintenance person,
Yeah.
tester, whatever she is. He gives her like a pep talk about you're doing this for the right reasons. And then she leaves. Oh, we got a party going on in here. That we'll get to the party in a minute. But he still's an Avenger that he can't quite fly. He goes to a meetup point, and the meetup point has been taken over by a group of very hungry, very thirsty
mercenaries,
I guess is the best way to put it. And I find all of that needed, but a little misplaced for me. Only because I think it's needed because Cassian figures it out that this is the group that they've been like weaponizing and paying for and everything, and that they still have no cohesion amongst each other.
They're almost completely inept.
Yeah,
I mean they can't survive. I mean he points it out to them that they've only been there for 2 days, and one of the guys is like, how do you know we've only been here for 2 days? And he's like, well, you weren't here when I left 3 days ago, so you've only been here 2 days. And they haven't even put something together to capture the rainwater so they can have water. They're just all too busy fighting amongst each other about somebody's brother taking off and never coming back or whatever. And you had to make it difficult for Cassian to get out of there, but it definitely, to me, that whole thing felt like it drug on.
It drug on a little
more.
Yeah,
than
I think I wonder if they had a different plan for that whole sequence, because the original idea behind the Andor series was to have each year be a season.
Yeah.
And then they got done with the first season, and they went, Tony Gilroy and Dave Galloon went, that's going to be 15 years of our life.
Yeah.
And that's all we're going to do for 15 years is Andor. And us as the fans would have been there for all of it. But I understand from their point of view about not wanting that.
Yeah.
And so, so this is one of those scenes where I think they had a different plan for what they wanted to do.
Maybe.
But I think ultimately what they needed to show is what we got out of it, and that is, at this point in time, the rebellion is nothing.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a complete mess with everybody trying to do their own thing for their own reasons. You've got Luthen over there doing their own thing, his own thing. You've got Mon trying to do her own thing. You've got Saw doing his own thing and his group and their radicalness. You got this kind of rabble of people, like not even like being like not even spending a minute to just logically think it all out.
Yeah.
And I know that's what we needed to have.
They make it sound like, so towards the end when Cassian is finally like diverts the one guy enough so he can, because this is his ship that they have like torn apart, and diverts the guy long enough to pop open this little hidden compartment and pull out his gun and everything. And the two sides have laid down their arms to come to an agreement in a duel. And, it's all like very, who's going to be your champion and who's going to be your second, and to the submission. So you're thinking, oh, this is going to be like a SmackDown brawl.
Yeah.
They're doing some
rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, scissors monster? What is this? I don't... What is going on?
And it's a perfect example of where we are with the rebellion right now. Is that you've got a bunch of these idiots.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other word to use. You've got these people who have been displaced by the Empire, who have no organizational skills, who have really no leverage, no resources, no
leader.
leader.
I mean, they need, you can have these 50 million, like Saw's group at least works because Saw is the leader.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like these guys are just, I don't know, they're almost just like Luthen's like, here's some guns, and they're like, cool,
Let's go do something.
Yeah.
Let's go do crime.
Yeah.
And that, it's yeah. And I think some people might butt up against that part of the show, but I think they're going to miss the point of what that whole was, and that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Now, it also gives us some character building for actual Andor, for Cassian, because he is the one who keeps pointing out, like, there's a tarp right there. Why don't you collect some water?
Yeah.
Why don't you try this? Why don't you showing his advancement as this spy, as this rebel spy running around, showing that he has learns how to adapt, learns how to change what he's going to do. Like him trying to figure out how to fly the plane or the Avenger.
Yeah.
It was funny, but like he was able to adapt and change and learn on the fly and stuff like that.
And then he did, I don't remember her name, Luthen's assistant.
Yes. Yes.
He like points out to her when they finally do make contact after he gets away, and he makes contact. He like yells at her about, I was taught how to fly the wrong ship.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that makes it, it was kind of funny and a little bit of comic relief there, with what was going on with him crashing up and crashing down,
right,
and all over.
And everything's going the wrong way, and that one's going this way,
Yeah.
and this is.
Yeah, that it, it's not necessarily his fault, that everybody's pretending like they know what they're doing, and nobody really necessarily knows what they're doing.
Yes, Kaya.
Sure.
Kalea.
Clea.
And she's great, by the way, because her and Luthen's conversation, we'll get to it in a second, but he's like nervous, and she's like, I told you I couldn't get reception out here. The Wi-Fi sucks.
Yeah. You sent me to this off planet and expect me to be able to communicate with everybody. Well, where's this guy? I don't know. Where's Cassian? I don't know.
I do like his speech that he gives the Imperial officer to kind of give her the courage to go through with everything. Cassian did do that. I do like that whole thing.
He's getting there, but he is not to Rogue One Cassian.
Yeah. He's definitely, you can see the groundwork here compared to when we get to. Let's talk about Brasso, Bix, the Harvest, everything like that. Putting them in harm's way by trying to be good people and having the Empire show up, it makes me itchy. Like I've much of the publishing has dealt with the Empire coming to a planet, taking all of the resources, Gorman, damn the people that are there, and then leaving the ashes behind.
Yeah.
And so you have this beautiful plains where they just kind of set up shop in a part of the field and make little roads and have the harvest as like the entire planet. When the ship shows up, I was thinking of the Ahsoka book where the Empire shows up, they take the entire harvest, they sow the ground, seed the ground with a fast growing crop that eats all the minerals and then eliminates any opportunity for the ground to regenerate to do. So it's like we come in, we're going to take what you have, we're going to put in our own stuff to take that again, and then you're on your own. Bye.
Yeah.
And so when that ship shows up and they start talking about inspections, I'm like, that was the thing that popped in my head. But all of that tension of they're at 500. They're going to 600.
Yeah.
Wherever we can go there.
Yeah.
Like that's we just did our Andor rewatch over Sunday and Monday, and that's that Ferrex kind of level of
Yeah.
you're not
Cat and mouse.
Yeah.
Trying to outsmart the Empire but they're not like Ferrex. At least they that was their home, right? They had been born there. They lived there.
Yeah.
Everybody. So they had like their secret, like tapping out, and the bells and stuff. And now they're somewhere else where they're just trying to stay one step ahead of them.
I also like the serenity that they had found after everything
Yeah,
in
it
this
was
planet.
very quiet and peaceful
And
there.
in fact, even when the Imperial officers pointed out how quiet it was.
Yeah. The douchebag
The douchebag.
that got a hammer to the skull, which he absolutely
Deserves, absolutely. I want to talk about, particularly with the scene with Bix and that Imperial officer attempting to assault her. That is something that we have not seen in Star Wars before. Star Wars is supposed to be the whiz-bang, spaceships and wizards with light swords and stuff. But with the expansion of storytelling, they've embraced this idea of telling different types of stories. This same universe that just gave us this scene also gives us a big blue guy in the Young Jedi Adventures named Nub, who is you just want to give him a big hug the entire time. So you can have this giant buffet of storytelling for different levels of storytelling. This is not a child's show. Young Jedi Adventures is a child's show. You can love both, or you can have like, this is for me and that's not for me. But I am amazed that they allowed this scene to happen, and glad they allowed this scene to happen, because showing someone like Bix, who has been through it, on Ferrex with the torture that she went through, she's still having nightmares.
Yeah.
And so whenever he shows up, she's cordial. She's, standing in the line, holding her line of being a good, just making small talk or whatever. And when he starts to force himself on her, she says no, gives him an out, backhands him in the nose, and then they have a big fight.
Yeah.
And that leads to the other Imperials at the commissary. What was that?
Yeah, like the market.
The market or whatever. Like being Imperials. I guess is the only way to really put it that I can think of right now off the top of my head. The idea that the Imperials think that they could take whatever they want. And they can't. There's nobody that stand up to them.
Right.
The Jedi are gone. There's no real organized rebellion, so they can come in and feed me and make me lunch for later and all that stuff, and you kind of have to go along with it. So when this Imperial officer goes in and tries to force himself on somebody else, and she stands up against him, it's not the first. It is an example of standing up against fascism, imperialistic ideas, and it's a very intimate one-on-one conflict between them. And then Cassian shows up with the Avenger and shoots down the other transport and whatever, but we lose Brasso in this process.
Yeah.
Now, we all know, I think if we can put 2 and 2 and 7 together, that the line that Cassian gives to Jin in Rogue One about, I've been in this fight since I was 7 years old. I've lost more people than you will ever know. I never thought that the Ferrex group was going to make it out of it. I never thought Luthen was going to make it out of this series. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, we know Mon Mothma does. We know Cassian does, and
Krennic.
And Krennic. Those are the only ones that we know for sure are going to make it to the end.
Yeah, it's so that.
And then Cassian doesn't even make it after Rogue One. So
Right. Or neither does Krennic.
Right.
So it's all on you, Mon.
Many boffins.
Many boffins. That's the next movie. But her standing up to the Empire by herself, but also Brasso being taken by the Empire, is rough to watch. Obviously, it's not as rough as some of the other shows we just watched in the last 24, 48 hours. But it's something that I expected to see, but I'm still not over losing Brasso because he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
He's such a big heart.
Yeah.
He was the one who is consoling B2 Imu when he had to leave.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be the kid, actually. In this, I mean, again, I'm not expecting anybody to make it out, but I thought that the kid would be the first one, especially in this these 3 episodes where they show that he's got a girlfriend and all of that.
Expectations aversion,
Yeah, I kind of thought it was going to be him. But Brasso also had a girlfriend.
Yeah, they were definitely together. Yeah. They were definitely together.
I thought maybe wife, but then, they kind of seemed to be moving around a little bit too much, so maybe just girlfriend. But
Yeah. But I liked the juxtaposition that we had between that group, the Ferrex group at the Harvest, the starkness of the Deirdre stuff, and then the in the dark in the jungle with the monsters out there ready to kill us. Idiots fighting in the trees. The 3 different storytelling points was a really good contrast, even though, like I said, they're all tied together.
Yeah.
And then you have the wedding.
Yeah.
So for me, these 3 episodes are about the wedding and Mon dealing with Luthen, Tay, Perrin, her husband, her daughter, who's just a bitch, also having to put on this super elaborate wedding, and showing the actual wealth that she has, her family has, and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Luthen being there to bring the statue as the wedding gift, and kind of being in Mon's ear the entire time about not trusting Tay.
Right.
And then Tay coming out and saying, essentially, your rebellion has screwed me. And
well, I don't know that he was saying that the rebellion had screwed him, but he was saying, that he'd had some bad investments, and her foundation had been set up and was running well, which the foundation is her funneling money to the cause, right? To the rebellion. So, I mean, basically, he's kind of fallen on some hard times. He had some bad investments. His wife left him. Something's going on there. And now he's just blackmailing her because he has the information and he needs money.
Yeah.
And so he's, he's like sugarcoating it, and Mon's like, I'm just going to offer him a number. We'll come up with the number. We'll find out what the number is.
Yeah.
And Luthen's like, that's not going to happen. There's
the number is this now, and
it's going to be something else later, and it's just not going to work. And she finally, I think, got there.
I think she finally got there. Yeah. The fact that Tay and Skolden had been working together.
Yeah.
Also, he was in his ear, kind of thing. For me, the wedding is stressful because weddings are always stressful. But
it's 3 days long.
And it's 3 days long. There's a hike to the top of the mountain in between. We're drinking the entire time.
It's kind of like the war.
It's kind of like the war. But I think, and I want to see how everything plays out going forward, I think this is the point where Mon really comes to the realization that I'm going to have to be okay with doing things to make this work. And when Tay kind of blackmails her, and Luthen calls her on it, and then says, it's so cute that you think that you're safe, kind of thing.
Yeah. How nice for you that you don't. She says, I never would have even thought of that and whatever. And he's like, how nice for you that you live in this. You have compartmentalized what's going on.
Yeah.
That you're not even thinking about the effects that. All this money that you're funneling to the rebellion. People are dying all over the place, and you just don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's a little bit of what they kind of dealt with in the last season with when she was trying to pass some legislation at the Senate,
and nobody was listening.
And nobody was really listening to her. And then there was a conversation. I'm trying to remember who was all there. It was at like a party or whatever. And somebody said, well, I feel safe on Coruscant, so why am I worried about the Outer Rim kind of thing? And that's, I'll say it, it's very Washington, D.C. compared to the rest of the country.
It is.
And that's well, a lot of what that conversation is about is shining a light on the upper crust and those in the political positions not understanding the everyday person's lifestyle or needs or concerns or anything like that.
Yeah, they're completely out of touch with that.
Yeah.
And I think that, for Mon, I mean, we had that stuff that happened in last season, and now, moving forward, her husband, Perrin, I was going to say Darren, I knew that wasn't right, Perrin, and he started his accusations of her, kind of sleeping with
Tay.
With Tay, and and she even said, "Oh, we're bringing that old thing up again or whatever." And now her daughter's gone. She's married, so she's gonna find herself
even more alone.
Yeah. I mean, she's being ineffectual in the Senate. She's, her family life, they wouldn't care. I mean, other than her cousin, they're cousins.
Yeah.
Who is part of the rebellion.
Yeah. Yeah.
She doesn't really have anything keeping her on Coruscant anymore.
I'm trying to remember what her name is. Val. Val showing up and just kind of being there. Of course she's there. She's the cousin. She's at the wedding. But it adds a layer of intrigue to everything that's going on with Luthen. Because she knows she's working for Luthen. And you have Belinda Condra.
Miss Belinda Chandri.
Chandri, sorry. You have her working. Cyril, Scott. Why can't I think of her name right now? You have them working for Luthen, so you're thinking that she's there, Val's there for Luthen, but she's actually there for Mon. And I think at some point in time, even Ethan Luthen points out that you're going to need protection. And that might be what she ultimately becomes, is her kind of always there assistant to be backup, because she's one of the few people that she can actually trust.
Yeah. Well, and she's going to be the only person left.
Yeah.
I mean, I think really her and Perrin, the only reason that they're together
is tradition.
And their daughter.
Yeah.
Without their daughter, what is the point?
Yeah.
They're just living in the same gigantic house.
And I think their marriage, Chandrilan marriage, seems like once you do it, that's it. There's no divorce. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And when Mon tries to get her daughter to like reconsider before they walk out, and her daughter's like, "This is what I want," kind of parallels with his conversation with her on the second day, where he was kind of calling her out for her new boyfriend. And when I watched that scene, I took it as he's kind of supportive of her to find someone else.
Well, yeah, because he's sleeping around.
Right.
So
yeah. And I just like it's not that he doesn't. I don't think he does not care about her. I think he does care about her, but he doesn't love her because it was arranged marriage.
Yeah, I don't know if he cares about her. I think he cares about her money. He cares about the lifestyle which has been afforded him.
And that's fair too, but I think that there's a level of respect there that I think that he was giving her, like, and okay. I think it's more of what I'm like. It's okay if you go do something.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't hate her. They're two people that live in the same house and share a daughter.
Yeah.
And it's very convenient for him because Mon has a lot of money, and now they're not going to have the daughter anymore, which is kind of what Mon was putting her efforts as far as at home. She was the one that was always like, "Oh, I'll take you to school," and the daughter was like, "Don't bother," and let's go do the thing, and the daughter was like, "Nope, I don't," So she was pouring all her efforts into that, and now that's not going to be there. So,
with the wedding, I want to talk about the set design, the costuming, the drinks, the set design. This show, Disney and Lucas put some money into this show.
Oh yeah,
that wedding alone is several $1 million of set design.
Yeah,
and you could tell like they were able to take long walk and talk conversations through long ornate hallways.
Yeah,
it's like, are we on Rivendell? What is going on?
There was I even said when the daughter and the boy, I don't remember what his name was, have their first fight on day one, and she runs off to this giant round room with no furniture in it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this room? Yeah. What is the point of this room?
This is my round room.
This is my round room. But, like, you just walk through it.
This is the room that Cyril would want to go in and mope. This is the moping room.
But there is no furniture. The daughter had to crumble to the floor because there's not even a couch for her to,
Yeah. But the costumes are amazing. Like Genevieve O'Reilly, who's playing Mon Mothma, was hired to do a scene in the prequels that ultimately got cut. It's a hugely important scene. I don't know why George cut it. It's such a big scene.
It is.
Has had the opportunity to come back around and play the same character again, and has been killing it. And she is, I'm sorry, she's the best thing in these 3 episodes. Everything that she has to do while putting on the senator face, putting on the mom face, having to deal with Luthen, having all that stuff hanging over, the blackmail stuff. Oh, by the way, I have to be mom too. Like, and
I'm
just
running a giant wedding, and like she would have a look on her face, and then someone would walk up and she would be like, "Hi," and you're like, wow.
Yeah, she is doing so much with that role, and I'm so happy for her. And she gets to wear all these amazing costumes. Like just how everything looked was so good.
And then during the at the end, they had the disco ball, the party ball, come out and start playing all the music, and then like she's realizing, that Luthen's probably gonna have Tay eliminated, and and all of that. She downs a couple shots, and she's out there on the dance floor, and she every time she turns around, she's got like she's crying, she's mad, she's just like woo, just having fun. Yeah,
she had a few drinks, and she finally, that scene for me is she's finally free.
Yeah,
she's finally free to remove the veil because she actually took the veil off. She's free. She's free of her daughter. She's free of Perrin. She's free of this worry that she's going to have to do things that she doesn't like. Like it's all been released, and now she's just free to move about the country. Like, and so yeah, so that whole sequence is just so well shot, so well done. It's so good. The only other thing I want to talk about is Cassian getting off the planet, getting back into the TIE Avenger. Tricking the guys into letting him back on. The big monster thing comes and eats a couple of the guys. He gets on the TIE Avenger, rides real low, lower than the trees, and then they pan back, and he starts to part up, and it's the pyramids on Yavin, and he was actually on Yavin 4, and so that's the Rebel base.
Right.
Those pyramids is the Rebel base.
Right.
So this is
you
how
just
he
need
figured
a guy
out.
standing out there with the
with
a radar gun or whatever it is that guy does all the time with the radar gun.
Head cannon. I have no knowledge of what that guy actually does. I know he has some job on there. My head cannon is he shoots that laser so those monsters don't come and eat R2.
That's fair. I'll go with that.
Chopper will just eat one of those monsters. But R2 could get, or C-3PO more likely because he can't move very well.
Yeah.
But that is the big reveal of these 3 episodes is as he leaves, they're on Yavin 4.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the Rebel base, and that's where because we have shots of Cassian walking into that hangar.
Well, and that's where Mon and everybody is at in Rogue One.
Yeah. So we know what the map was, but now we're starting to get some details of that map as we got to move forward. And I really appreciate that the destination, although important, it's how we're getting there is the really important stuff.
Yep.
And I'm really loving that. So not too bad. 51 minutes for 3 episodes with a ton of information going on. Let us know what you thought of this episode and our conversation about it in the comments down below. Please be nice. That is a requirement around here. I wear this shirt that says Star Wars is for everyone on purpose. Don't mess this up. The show's amazing. If you're on the Spotify side, follow us here. If you're on the YouTube side, hit the bell for notifications and subscribe here. And then we're on all the social media stuff. Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, and I'm writing for the Geekiary. All those links are in the description down below. I just did an article about Star Wars Celebration, so find us there. And until next time, cult members, good afternoon, good evening, and good night now. I need a drink.